Action. Hello everybody. Welcome back to yet another episode of My Music Journey. Mkhululi Bhebhe here. And guys, you are so awesome. You guys have been so amazing. We are almost at 10,000 subscribers. Guys, busele kancane, just a little bit and we will hit our target. So guys, continue sharing the good news of this channel with your family, your friends, and everybody on your timelines. Continue spamming the comment section, continue liking the videos, and most importantly, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Bless you. So I'm sure guys, you can see at this point that it's really easy to put up a front. It's really easy to act as if everything is okay because you are a public figure when your whole world is falling apart. You know, as I mentioned to you in the clip that I posted earlier, that I've been having trouble with my health. You know, I've really been struggling. This is a pre-recorded episode and I'm sure you can see that I am well, you know, like nothing has happened to me yet. But by the time you view this, it means I've already gone to the gastroenterologist and I am probably resting and trying to recover. So guys, yeah, where was I with my story? The DVD recording. Mighty God. Wow guys, that recording really took me on the ride of my life. I was beginning to have doubts on whether this was a calling, because there's a difference between a calling and God's calling and what you want to be your calling. You know, we have a tendency of assuming that every calling is from God. Well, like I said in the previous episode, that, you know, that recording, you know, one of those recordings that make you feel like you are never gonna do this thing ever again. Like, I think I made a vow to myself that never will I ever put myself in this position again, because there I am having all sorts of doubts. I don't even know what to do. I don't know where I'm gonna get the money to fulfill the budget of the recording. People have pulled out, you know, I've been blocked and I don't know what to do. The poster is out, you know, those who support me are rearing to come and support me. Those who do not support me are waiting to see what kind of a failure the recording will turn out to be. Because still at that, people of God, let me just take a moment on that particular point. When you do something and everybody supports you, be very afraid. I've mentioned this before, be very afraid. You know, now the measure that I use to determine whether I'm doing something impactful, something good in actual sense, is when the engagement is low. When you do something and the people you expect to congratulate you keep quiet, it means you are rattling their feathers. Because let me tell you something about the deception of this industry. People will be quick to tell you that you're doing so well when you are doing so bad, so that you stay in that zone, so that you don't progress. Well, I'm not talking for everybody. There are sincere people who will tell you the actual truth as it is. But I am telling you the story according to who? So I continue selling the tickets. I continue making as much noise as I can to the people that I can make noise to. And the concert keeps on drawing closer and closer. You know, I'm really working hard with the music. I'm trying to master the music. I'm trying to learn the music. Also trying to raise money to fund the actual recording. So it was really hard. It was really, really hard. And I remember some people asking me, why don't you get a team to assist you with all of these things? Guys, let me tell you who my team is. My team is my wife and my young brothers. Family is the best team that you'll ever get. You know, family. That is the best team you'll ever get. Because some people will tell you, Mkhululi, please call on me anytime you need my help. I will jump on the opportunity. I want to sow into your life. But then when you actually get to a point where you need to redeem that, it's like a voucher, you know. When somebody tells you, okay, call on me anytime you need me, it's like they give you a voucher to call on them every time you need them. So when you produce the voucher and say, no, my friend, you said I can call on you anytime I need your help, they will start asking you what your budget is. Trust me, people of God. Trust me. So never assume, this is a very important point, guys. Never assume that people are doing things for you for free because they said they will do them for you for free. Make sure you understand somebody's position before they actually give you any type of help, because you might end up selling your soul to the wrong people, all in the name of assuming that you are entitled to their help. Even if they mention that they want to help you, always make sure. With me, people of God, I always ask, are you sure you are doing this for free? Yes, Mkhululi, I'm doing this for free. And believe it or not, the more I keep pushing and asking if somebody's really genuinely doing it for free, they end up showing me their true colors and they tell me, no, I'm really doing this so that. There is always a catch. So beware. Dear upcoming artist, beware. Okay, guys, so fast forward to just a couple of days before the recording. Things are not going well at this point, and I don't know what to do. I keep looking at the ticket sales, the CompuTicket report. Now, for those of you who don't know what CompuTicket is, let me try to explain it a bit to you. I hope you get to understand. It's one of those mobile, one of those online ticket sales platforms, one of those. So I keep refreshing the page because I don't believe this number that I'm seeing on the report. I don't believe it. And it actually went on like that till the day of the morning of the concert. I had only sold 21 tickets. Ask me how big my venue was. Out of faith, I chose a venue that was a 1,600 seater. Facebook has pretty much told me that they are coming. The whole of Facebook is coming. Remember what I spoke about in the other episode? The whole of social media has told me that we're bringing everybody there. It's going to be packed. Oh, wow, it's going to be awesome. And yet, numbers don't lie, people of God. So don't be deceived. Upcoming artists, don't be deceived by people who will tell you that they support you, but when it comes to actions, you don't actually see the support. Because support has to be tangible. Support doesn't only end with somebody writing something from somewhere. Support is actually more physical than verbal, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now, on the day before the concert, I remember contemplating the idea of, I had actually drafted a message to apologize to all the people the 21 people who had bought the tickets. Well, of course, let's not leave out the number of tickets I had sold in churches that I had gone to, So I had sold a total of about 300 or something tickets in churches. Some tickets had been left with other churches in the hope that their congregants were going to buy them and meet me at the venue. So guys, as I said before, we are a day before the concert and there's a lot of things that are going wrong. I am still struggling with the lyrics to some of the songs because I have not spent as much time on the music as I was supposed to, because I was doing a lot of things, And big ups to my wife, Ashley. Thank you so much for standing with me through that very, very difficult time. I would not have made it without you. What that woman did was she became everything. She became the transport person. She became the catering person. She became the wardrobe person, taking care of my wardrobe, taking care of the backing vocalist wardrobe. They were looking so beautiful on the day of the recording, all thanks to her. Mrs. B, you're the best. So yeah, and the thing that was really, really troublesome for me was the fact that the lighting person needed his balance. He needed his money ASAP. And he made it clear to me that he was going to set up, but he was not going to switch on the lights before I paid the balance. And I don't blame him for that. Mind you, he's not the only person who does that. Even musicians do that. Even singers do that. So everybody does that. So let's not paint anybody with the wrong brush. Even I do that. So it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, am I suffering for the sins of my past? Which brings me to another point as well. As I promised you that I'm gonna really tackle the issue of how I chose my backing vocalists and my musicians. By musicians, I mean the band. What criteria did I use? But maybe just to give you a bit of that. You have to choose people who have got your best interests at heart. You have to choose people who support your music. You have to choose people who respect your brand and who respect you as a human being. Because imagine standing there, you're worrying about giving praises to God, and you're worried about ministering to the congregation, to the people, to you guys. And you're also worried about somebody standing behind you and frowning all the way. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. It really doesn't work. So you have to choose people who value you, people who respect you, but most importantly, people who love you and your music. People who don't take your music for granted. It will really help you. Even if you forget everything else I have said, remember that. So while all of this is going on, in my mind, I am thinking, I gotta find a way of raising this money. That's why I accepted each and every booking. I was even working the day before, actually the night before my recording. I went and sang somewhere. I went and ministered somewhere just to get money, because that money is the one that was supposed to pay the balance for the lighting. Oh my goodness. So as usual, I sang my heart out. Of course, I danced my feet out. I just rejoiced in the presence of the Lord. And the thing with me is, even if I tell myself that I want to hold back, there's no such a thing as holding back with me, which brings me to a very important point again. There are people who will invite you to come and perform at their events, and because they don't have the budget, for you, they will ask you to hold back. They'll say, no, you just do small. There's no such thing as small. I don't know. Maybe you guys can do small. Please do mention what your small is on the comment section. Your comments are always welcome. But with me, there's no such thing. As soon as I take that microphone, I get into praise mode. I get into worship mode. There's no holding back, because I am not doing that only for show. I'm doing it as praises to God. I'm doing it as praises to God. If I happen to minister to you while I'm doing that, praise be to God. But I never take any opportunity to minister to God's people for granted. I never take any opportunity to minister before God for granted. Thank goodness the man of God who had invited me to his church is a very good man. So he wired the money, and it was only going to be a couple of hours before it reflected. So after ministering at his church, I then went to check on the progress at the venue, my venue, for the recording. Got there at around 1 a.m., somewhere there. And I remember sitting there in that empty auditorium, thinking to myself that, Father God, please do not disappoint me. Please, I really look up to you. Do not disappoint me. Do not let my enemies have the last laugh. Do not let those who hate me have the last laugh. Oh my goodness, I prayed that day. My voice was gone from the singing. So I remember praying silently, and I remember going through the whole auditorium, touching every chair, laying hands on every chair, asking God to send somebody to come and occupy that chair. I'm going somewhere with this, people of God. So please do stay with me. Stay with me. Don't lose me. Don't lose me. I remember going to bed at around 3 or 4 in the morning from the venue, because the same car that was supposed to take me home, which was my car, I had a car at the time, I'm going somewhere with this, people of God. Most of you might ask yourself, why is he telling us about a car? I am going somewhere with this. So I had a car, and the same car was delivering other people to their homes and whatever. So I remember getting home at around 4 in the morning, sleeping round about that time because I was exhausted. Still in my suit, because I'd been to perform literally the previous evening. So imagine this, opening your eyes on the day of the recording, on the morning of the recording. The first thing that I wanted to touch was my phone, because you never know what's going to happen, So I was just praying for a wave, where you pray for this wave of people buying tickets. Because a lot of people had said, a lot of colleagues had said, Mkhululi, don't worry, Africans always buy tickets on the morning of the concert. So there I was logging on to the CompuTicket website again, hoping for a good number. 23 tickets had been sold. Apart from that, 17 missed calls had been recorded on my phone as I slept. 17 missed calls of people demanding to get their money, which is okay. It's very much okay. So that's not where I am even at. Where I am at is the fact that on the morning of the recording, at around 11 in the morning, I was busy driving around all over Johannesburg trying to find a buyer for the car, because it's the only thing of value that I had left. In my mind, I was like, okay, the day is here and I will not be put to shame. So I would rather let go of this car, because I've done most of the running around. I remember I still had 1 or 2 guests to pick up from the airport. So I was like, okay, I will go and arrange for cab services for those guys while I try to sell this car. People of God, I have never cried that much. I remember driving, and as I am driving, I'm trying to check if my voice will come back. The voice was still not there. My little brothers were very worried. Even my wife was very worried that morning. Even I was worried because I didn't know what was going to happen. So there I am crying in my car as I am busy trying to sell it, busy trying to find a buyer. And the thing about these guys, these car dealerships, these used car dealerships, is that they prey on your, what's the word, love? Desperation. These guys prey on your desperation. The moment they see that you are desperate for something, the moment they realize that you're trying to sell your car on a Saturday morning and you're willing to take anything that they have to offer, they will exploit you, they will negotiate you down. Imagine, I remember this guy saying he was going to buy my car for 25,000 Rand. It still baffles me how somebody feels it's okay to buy an Audi A4 for $25,000. Oh, well, dollars, I wish, for 25,000 Rand. How do you do that? I'm sure you guys are thinking, of course, Mkhululi ended up finding a buyer for the car, hence the DVD recording ended up happening. People of God, I did not find a buyer for the car. I remember driving to the venue at around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, beat down and worn out, trying to sell that car and failing to sell the car. And there is somebody who still refuses to be named up to this day, who came through for me right at the last moment. The person said, okay, Mkhululi, how much do you need for this recording to happen? Okay, like what do you need for this recording to happen? I had raised a lot of money at that time, and I am not even ashamed to say that I have spent over 500,000 Rand on that recording, to date. So I had spent, you can imagine how much I had spent at that time. So the person says, how much do you need? I said, okay, no, I'm just short about 50,000 or so. The person wired that money into my account, no questions asked, and said, you will pay me back when you get it. God will send you angels, people of God. And your help will come from the least likely places. So I salute you. You know yourself. You contributed to that recording, and I know you are watching this. I salute you. Even though you refuse to be named, I still salute you. And you know, the thought of what you did for me really brings tears to my eyes, because nobody could have done that for me. I had tried everything. I was gone. I was gone, and you came through for me. May the Lord increase you for what you did for me. May the Lord bless you for what you did for me. Now it's sound check time and everybody's there. You know, it's just 2 hours before we open the doors to the public, and I'm trying to sing. I'm trying to check if I can hit those high notes. Sometimes when we select keys for these recordings, we assume that our voice will be at its peak on the day of the recording. It was so funny. But well, it's so funny now that I look back, but it wasn't funny at the time. And I remember thinking to myself, what am I gonna do? What am I really gonna do about this? The backing vocalists are worn out because they've literally spent the whole day there sound checking and rehearsing songs from my guest artists who had just arrived. Well, a majority of them had just arrived the day before the recording, and it was just a mess. They were trying to get Swahili lyrics from my sister Evelyn Wanjiru, trying to get lyrics from my sister Celestine Tonko, trying to get lyrics from NK, from Steve Brown. It was just a mess. It was a mess. Now, each time I watch the DVD, I'm like, oh my goodness, I couldn't even get a shave. That's how much pressure I was under. I forgot. I won't say I didn't have the money to get a shave, because, well, I didn't have the money to get a shave. That's how broke I was. But I forgot. The only time I remembered that I needed a shave was after the recording. Well, God being God, a lot of people did show up for that concert, and I'm so grateful. Way more than the 300 tickets I had sold physically, and way more than the 21 tickets I had sold on CompuTicket. But we still didn't have a full venue. Though I chose not to look at the glass as being half empty, but as being half full. And I was grateful. You know, when people take their time, sometimes you look at the numbers, you're deceived. You see, 750 people instead of 1,500 people, which is literally half of what you asked for. And you look at the empty chairs and forget to appreciate God for the full chairs. Because that occupied chair represents a person who believes in you, a person who believes in your gift so much that they were willing to part ways with their money to come and be of support, So I don't take that for granted. That's why it doesn't matter how many people are watching me. It doesn't matter. A lot of people will attest to this. Whether I find a congregation of 20 people, whether I find an audience of 50, 500, 5,000, 10,000 people, I will still give the same energy. I will still give it my all, because I believe that it's possible to perform in front of 10,000 people and you fail to minister just to one person. So it's all about ministry, I believe in my music encouraging somebody. I believe in my words touching somebody, who is on the brink of suicide, who is on the brink of giving up on everything, even if it's one person. Even if it's one person, my mission is accomplished. So to God be the glory. God made sure that that recording happened against all odds. I remember I wanted so much to have a lot of things at that recording, but all of that didn't happen. And it taught me a lesson, Sometimes you will pray to God and you will ask Him for a specific thing, and He will not give you that specific thing. He will give you something a bit less than that in your eyes. but it's all for a purpose. Maybe it was meant to teach me something. Maybe it was meant to elevate me to my next level of breakthrough. Maybe it was meant to encourage me in my prayer life. But I can tell you one thing. It doesn't matter whether I had a half full auditorium or not. That album is ministering to people all across the world, and the work of God is continuing. You know, it's a very bitter lesson to learn when you pray for something specific and then what you receive is something that seems a bit less or way less than you prayed for. It teaches you so many things. It encourages you. You can either stop believing in God completely, or your faith can be encouraged, you know. And I chose to be encouraged. My prayer life has never been the same, you know, especially now that I see the work, the good work that my music is doing all across the world. So in conclusion, the recording did happen. The recording was beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful moments that we captured. It might have not gone the way that I would have loved, but it really went extremely well, and I'm grateful. It's all because of God. Glory be to the Most High God who made it possible for that recording to happen. And the fact that the album is touching a lot of lives, the videos are nearing almost 1 million views on my channel. And for me, I don't take that for granted, because for every soul that is won for the kingdom of God, for every person that I minister to, I count it as a plus. I count it as progress. So for more on how the recording went and, you know, the funny moments, the not so great moments, the emotional moments, do stay tuned for episode 9 of My Music Journey. Stay blessed.